He made me the punchline, and they laughed. There are moments in life that split your timeline into before and after. You never see them coming. 1 second you're whole. The next, you're a joke told out loud in a crowded room, and everyone's laughing but you. It happened on a Thursday. Not that the day of the week matters, but somehow, I've always remembered that detail. I remember the air conditioning blowing too hard in the conference room. I remember the way Jason grinned before he opened his mouth. And I remember the sound, sharp, staccato, contagious laughter, echoing around me like a slap. He made me the punchline, and they laughed. That's the sentence I couldn't stop repeating in my head as I sat there, frozen, eyes wide, cheeks burning. They weren't laughing at me maliciously. Not intentionally, anyway. That's the worst part. Most of them didn't even realize what they were doing. Jason made sure of that. He was always clever like that. Clever enough to make cruelty look like comedy. But I should start from the beginning. I joined the company 9 months earlier, fresh out of grad school, ready to prove myself. I was ambitious but quiet, eager but cautious. It took me weeks to feel like I belonged. Jason helped with that. He was everything I wasn't. Charismatic, loud, confident. People gravitated toward him. He told stories that filled the room, made jokes that lit up even the dullest meetings. He remembered names, birthdays, favorite coffee orders. He made everyone feel like they mattered, including me. At first. He'd swing by my desk, ask how my day was going, invite me to lunch with the team. He introduced me to people I wouldn't have had the courage to approach on my own. I thought he was mentoring me. No, I wanted to believe he was mentoring me. The truth is, Jason never invested in people unless they were useful to him. I was new, eager, and easy to impress. That made me low-hanging fruit for someone like him. Things started small. Jokes about my handwriting in meetings, comments about how I was too organized, how I color-coded everything. I laughed along. We all did. It felt harmless. Then came the nicknames. Spreadsheet Queen. Nervous Nellie. Mom Friend. I didn't mind them at first. Everyone got nicknames. It was just Jason being Jason. But mine never changed. They stuck and they stung more with time. And Jason never used them when it was just the two of us, only when there was an audience. Still, I told myself it was nothing. I didn't want to seem overly sensitive. I kept my head down. I worked hard. I even laughed when he impersonated me, nervously adjusting my glasses, mimicking my voice. It made the others laugh. I hated how much I wanted to fit in. But then came Thursday, the quarterly department meeting. 50 people gathered in a too bright room with bad coffee and stale bagels. Jason was presenting on team dynamics. He had slides. He had jokes. He had the room in the palm of his hand. And then he said it. I mean, take Lauren, for example. He pointed at me. I blinked. If you want to know what anxiety looks like in human form, just give her a project with a vague deadline. Laughter. Not just a chuckle. Not just a smirk. Full-blown, head thrown back. Open-mouth laughter. Even the VP laughed. My manager snorted into her coffee, and I sat there. Small. Frozen. Humiliated. I tried to laugh too. I think I did. I don't remember the sound. I just remember my hands trembling slightly as I reached for my notebook, pretending to take notes so I wouldn't have to meet anyone's eyes. Jason went on like nothing had happened. The meeting continued. No one said anything. No one noticed the way I clenched my jaw or avoided looking up. Or maybe they did, and it was easier not to say anything. I left the room quickly when it ended, locked myself in the restroom, sat in a stall, and let the silence settle around me. I kept hearing it. The way he said my name, the punchline, the laughter. He made me the punchline. And they laughed. That night, I didn't sleep. My brain played the scene on repeat. I thought about quitting. I thought about telling HR. I thought about disappearing. Instead, I did something I hadn't done in a long time. I called my sister. She listened without interrupting. She didn't laugh. When I finally ran out of words, she said, "Lauren, you're not crazy. That wasn't okay." I exhaled for what felt like the first time all day. She added, "Being the quiet one doesn't make you weak. You just need to find your voice." It stuck with me. The next morning, I walked into work and made a decision. I wasn't going to laugh along anymore. I wasn't going to be anyone's punchline. It started small. I stopped responding to Jason's jokes with a smile. I looked him in the eye instead. When he made another offhand comment about how I probably had a spreadsheet for my weekend plans, I replied, "I do. It keeps me focused. You should try it." He laughed, but it was awkward, forced. A few people looked confused. The spell was starting to break. I began speaking up in meetings more, backing up my ideas with data, projecting confidence even when I didn't feel it. I noticed people listening. Some even asked for my input afterward. Jason noticed too. He started pulling back. Fewer jokes, less eye contact. He moved on to new people, easier targets. One afternoon, a coworker named Priya approached me after a meeting. "Hey," she said, "I just wanted to say, I used to feel the same way. Like he was always using me for laughs. I'm glad you pushed back. You gave me permission to do the same." That meant more to me than any title, any raise, any nod from upper management. It meant I wasn't alone. By the end of the quarter, Jason was no longer the center of attention. The company had shifted. People started recognizing behavior that had gone unchecked for years. Eventually, he took a new role at another firm. I didn't miss him. The day he left, he swung by my desk. "Hey, Lauren," he said. "You're doing good work. You've really come out of your shell." I looked at him. Steady. Calm. "I was never in a shell," I replied. "You just weren't listening." He gave a tight smile, then walked away. A year later, I led my first department meeting. I stood in that same conference room. Lights, bright, chairs full. I opened with a story about owning your space, about the quiet ones in the room having the loudest thoughts. I talked about respect, about humor that uplifts rather than diminishes, about how culture isn't built in grand gestures but in small moments of kindness. When I finished, there was no laughter. There was something better. Silence, reflection, respect. Afterward, someone from another department came up to me and said, "You've changed the way this place feels." I nodded. It wasn't just me, but I'm glad I played a part. He made me the punchline, and they laughed. But laughter fades. Respect lasts. And I am not a punchline. I am the one holding the mic now.